Hello. This tutorial is going to run you through very briefly, as I've done in quite a few other videos, just drop stuff in the timeline. But more importantly, we're looking at adding in text, adding in transitions, adding in blend modes, and simple bits of animation to elements, both bits of video and any images that you want to bring into your timeline. So quickly going to import some media. As you know, you can do it a few different ways. You can press the import media button down there. You can go to file, import. I'm just going to grab a few videos. Got a few random bits and bobs. Some stuff I've grabbed off Pexel, some stuff I filmed around campus. I don't know what's here really. I'm going to drop it in there. Okay, and as you know, we could just drop in one of these videos into here, but what this would do is create a sequence for a timeline that would be, the settings would be whatever the resolution and the frame rate of this video is. So if I've recorded something on my phone at say 4K, or I've downloaded a video that's really small, tiny, like old school 90s VGA resolution, and I drop it in there, I'll either have a really massive video if it's in 4K, and I might have bits of really small video. So I need to decide what I'm going to set my sequence at. Now, I'm going to click down here, go to File, New, Sequence. Now, I could have a portrait video if I'm making something I'm thinking specifically could be for Reels or for TikTok. Or a billboard even. I could, but I'm going to go with HD, which is the regular kind of landscape video. It's full HD, 1080p, which is 1080 pixels high. I'm going to go for 25 frames a second. It doesn't really matter a great deal. I wouldn't go for 50, it'll look a bit crazy, but around 25, 30, or even the 23.976, which is essentially 40. You could name this sequence if you really wanted to. I'm not going to, but when I save my video, I'll decide what it's going to be called then. So I click OK. I've got my sequence here, and this is kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to drag. So that's my video. So what's up here now? Got some video. And what you might want to do is set an in point. So you might got loads of video. You might have a really long video, but you just need a little section out of it. So I'm going to have the guy going along on a bike. So I'm going to scroll to here, press I, scroll along to there. Those people that leave the frame, press out. I'm going to drag this over. Now, if I drag the whole video over, as you can see, when I do this, it's saying it's a clip mismatch, because I think whatever the resolution of this is, or the frame rate, is different than what I've got in my timeline. But I'm going to keep the existing settings. It looks like I've downloaded a 4K video. It's massive. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to select my video here. And up here, you should see an effect controls panel. If you don't see it up there, make sure it's ticked under window effect controls. And in terms of workspaces, the default workspace, as in all these different panels, where they're laid out, what panels you get, when you start Premiere up, I think it comes up as learning. It could be any one of these, and all of these have different kind of focuses, but I kind of, out of habit I suppose, if I want a bit more sort of clarity, I will go for editing when I'm doing this, and then go to color when I want to color grade it, etc. But I'm going to go for all panels, and that gives us kind of a smorgasbord of stuff. Oh, this is all going funky, isn't it? If you end up with something like this, and you're like, hang on, that's not the sequence panel I was looking for. Over here, you've got these two little chevrons. Click on that, and it's got lots of other things that are kind of hidden on these tabs that kind of go whoop off the page. So I've selected this video. I'm going to bring the scale down a touch, and if it is 4K, then I imagine if it's half the size, about 50, yep, it's going to be 1080p full HD. Okay, so basically 4K is double the size. What's this? This little video I shot in. Go on campus. There we go. Let's drag you in. Is that slow mo? That starts back there. It's going to bring that in a bit more. So yeah, if you sort of decide you've got in and out points in here, you don't have to. You can always just drag stuff in and do it manually when you're in the thing. You'll need to sort of trim things and change things anyway, but I don't need all this. This is far too long and boring. Oh my god. I'm just going to just want a few little video clips in. I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm just sort of giving you an idea Is there anything else fun going on? Some lights and cars. There we go. Let's grab that. Okay, that's massive again. It's another 4K video, and you could always leave it if you want it zoomed in. You can always leave it like that if you want to. But I'm going to bring that down to maybe there we go. So I've got 3 little videos. Lovely. Now, what's I going to look at? So transitions. So pretend I've cut my video, and this is essentially what I'm going to do. I'm happy with that. If I play it. Is there any audio going on? There's no audio there, but there's audio here, so you know there's the cars. I can always mute this. So this track down here, I can mute it. Another thing you could do is when you're making your little clip, if you drag that little film strip icon over, you'll get just the video. You won't get the whole lot. You can just drag the audio if you wanted to as well. And if you drag the whole lot, you'll get the video and the audio. Okay, so you may or may not want some of the audio clips that are in your thing. I can actually get rid of this. I could either bring the volume down by dragging that little line down to nothing. Okay. I could, I could ungroup or unlink the video from the audio. There's 2 ways of doing it. Right click, unlink down there. Or you can click on this little icon up here, link selection, click that. I can select these individually and do that. But I'd like to make sure that's back up. Otherwise, if you leave that unlinked, when you start dragging video around, if you want it to stuck to the audio, then you'll end up with audio and video unsynced. It gets a bit messy. But if you don't want any of the audio, say for instance, off there, you could mute it, or you can change the volume individually. If you zoom in, pressing the plus button, let's zoom in here. I'm just going to drag these over a little bit. I don't need all that space. I want to have a bit more space for my timeline. Pressing plus zooms in. You can always drag these as well to get a bit more view of what's going on. You can always change the volume here as well if you wanted to, but I might just keep the volume there. Why not? Anyway, I'm going to have a look at some transitions. Now, most videos you'll probably want to fade in and out at least. You may not. It's entirely up to you and the aesthetic you want to go for. And in terms of cuts between clips, here I've got jump cuts. It's a real harsh sort of just slice, and you may want to fade them in a bit more gently. Okay, up to effects. Again, if you don't see this, make sure you can see it ticked in your window panel. And go video transitions. Dissolve is like the first one to look at, and that's kind of just the fade in there. Feel free to obviously jump into any of these and have a look at other effects as well. I mean, if you want to get crazy with it, there's all sorts of stuff you can play around with, but I'm not going to go into anything, and I think most people's videos are going to be quite straightforward. You've shot some footage, you want to cut them together and create a nice video. Okay, I've twizzled down dissolve. The one that's got a blue outline around it is the default. Okay, and you can change any of these to a default by right clicking and going select transition to default, but I'm going to go with this one. And if I drag this in, I've got a slight fade there, and you can zoom in. You can make the cross dissolve longer, so you have a slow, that's a very slow fade. There we go. If you want a more sort of dramatic finish to your video, but the default one, as it's set, can drop in. I'm not going to go into changing the settings for the length of that, but if you are interested in looking into that, go into Premiere Pro, settings, and I think it's in the timeline bit down here in the settings. Click general, you get all these different things you can tweak and play around with. So I can either drag this into here, okay, I'm going to undo, or I can right click at the edge and click apply default transitions. Default transitions. You can also fade between the clips. Remember I said about having the cut here. If I drag my cross dissolve into the middle, I'll fade between clips there, and I might do that again for this final one, seeing as I've done it there as well. Keep it kind of consistent. It kind of sets a tone, doesn't it? It's, you know, it's a different kind of feel to the video if there were harsh cuts or a more faded kind of gradual thing. It's a bit softer. So that's in there. I'm going to add a little title at the beginning of my video. And it's up to you how you run this. You can either sort of select everything, move it along, and put a title at the beginning. You might want a title to come in over the top. But either way, if you click T or press T as a shortcut and click and drag, a little window there, and just type in the title of your video. So at the beginning of a video, you'll have a title normally. At the end, it's the credits, so I'm going to run through that as well. Now, I've got this selected over here. If I go to Effect Controls, you see when I created my text, another layer appeared on top of my video here. And this is a little graphic element. So in your Effect Controls, if you've got the clip selected, so any of these clips, when you select a clip, over here in Effect Controls, this applies purely to the clip you have selected. And I click on the text there, little eyedropper. What's the vector motion for? I'm not going to play with that right now. Excuse me. And I'm going to change my font. Oh, that's horrible. That's amazing. Don't get too lost in the video. Anyway, that'll do. Excuse me. My lunch. I'm going to center that. You can increase the size if you need to. You can change the line height, I think. There we go. Does this apply to that? Okay, so the vector motion up there applies just to the vector, so it's a graphic rather than anything else. You can also move things around by going straight down to video, because I've got this clip selected, so it's treating that as video. So you could change position, scale with that as well, but I think doing the vector motion is probably better, especially if you're zooming in, actually thinking about it. It would be a lot cleaner and you're not going to lose any quality. So let's just try that. Actually, I might have it to there, and then when it gets to here, I might fade it out. Okay, so to animate things, and this applies to video and text or any images. As you can see, when in my effect controls here, as I move this little blue playhead, the playhead down here, so it's the same bit. And up here, it's got the clip, and there's the clip. So what I want to happen is when I get to this bit, I'm going to zoom out the my text. Okay, and I could just have it as a cut, I could fade it, I could add any sort of number of effects, but I'm going to zoom it out just to show you how to animate. Next to all of these options, and this applies to anywhere where you see that little sort of circle with the dot, that's meant to be a stopwatch. I'm going to click the stopwatch and a little diamond frame appears. This is called a keyframe. This signifies that there's going to be some animation going on. I'm going to fade it to the end of that clip there. I'm going to fade it all the way out. If you want to, you can just, if you want to be accurate, you can type in there, you can just click and drag. If you see that little finger with the arrows, you can click and you can drag one way or another. Okay. So play it. You should always play things just to see how they look. So they'll look very different when you're sort of scrubbing through. And also, it is when you are in an editing software like Premiere, when you press spacebar, by the way, to play things through, it kind of generally gives you an idea of how it's going to run, but when you export it, it's always a tiny bit quicker, and the quality of the video will always look a lot better as well. Okay, so everything's a bit sort of reduced down to help you edit quicker, basically. Okay, it's not so much on the computer, but I kind of like the speed of that. It's the same speed as the car. It's quite funny. I think it's funny anyway. Right, what I might do is bring that clip in a bit sooner. Oh, I need to bring that back in as well. I need to re-add my, there we are. Nice. And I'm going to actually bring this down so it's a little bit of a quicker thing. Okay, so that's how to do that. You can also, I think I mentioned in the session today about adding blend modes. If you want to add a blend mode in, I'm going to double click this. But essentially you can layer up videos and give them effects. They sort of fade into each other. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to just grab the video, not the actual other bit. Now what's going to happen? So I've doubled up these videos. And I'm going to add another transition in there so it kind of sits with what's going on there. Now, a blend mode is, imagine two bits of paper, and the blend mode will make one of those bits of paper, the top one, more transparent than the other. And this will apply in different ways. So darken sort of will, this top section kind of makes the top layer darker in different ways, depending on what it's sort of saying. So color dodge quite nice, so it's quite a dark, moody kind of look. Looks like they're trapped. I'm just going to do this actually and mirror what's going on there. It's a bit weird. And then down here, it's kind of a bit more transparent, I suppose. A bit softer. And then below there, oh no, so up there you've got lighten, which kind of does the opposite thing, so it's brighter. Again. I don't know which one I prefer. I think I prefer the moody one at the top. So I'm going to go for color dodge. There we go. It's a bit spooky, I think. Okay. Now let's add a bit of, and with the animation I did here, you can add animation into any of these other sections as well. What you might find you're doing, I'm just going to open up Photoshop a sec, is you might have an image, you want to cut something out and bring that in and animate that. So as long as my computer doesn't completely fall over, because I've got too many bits of software open and not enough space on my hard drive. I'm sure a lot of you have a similar situation, but let's see. So I'm going to drag blah blah blah. I've got a nice picture here. Oh crikey, go away. Let's see if there's an image here I can use from before. Right, I'm not going to grab a random picture of my son. I do have a picture of a bear here, so I'm going to, this was from a poster I was making for a theatre show, so let's grab this. So I'm in Photoshop now. I've opened up this image. What I'm going to do is cut out this little bear. So a quick and dirty way of doing that is to go over here to the lasso tool, or lasso tool. If you're American, you pronounce it lasso, apparently. I'm not American, but hey. And I'm going to, there's a few ways of doing this. I'm going to add another one. If you don't see some options here, it's annoying how Photoshop does this. So if you see one with a little arrow on, hold it down and you'll see a few more versions. I'm actually looking for a polygon tool. Oh, it's popped up here magically. Okay, I'm going to grab that one instead. If you click down here where you've got the little sort of 3-dot menu, there's all these other tools you can pick from as well. It's just a bit bonkers. There's too many things. Anyway, the polygon lasso tool is quite good. The lasso tool you sort of click and drag, and but unless you've got like a pen tablet, it can be a bit tricky to do with your finger on a trackpad if you're using a laptop. So down here I've got a polygon tool. I'm going to click. Every time you click, it just creates a straight line. So you click and then don't hold it down, and it'll give you a more sort of jaggedy, weird look. You may not want that at all. What's the other thing we've got up here? Selection brush tool. I wonder if I just paint over the bear. Will they give me a bit of an idea of I think it uses a bit of AI to decide what it is you want. No, it hasn't worked. What else have we got up here? Up here there's an object selection tool, I think. Yeah, let's click on that. There we go. Let's get the bear. Brilliant. When you see these little dotty lines running around like marching ants, that means something's selected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, so Command and C, or you could go up to Edit and Copy. So Edit, Copy. Then I'm going to paste. I'm going to Edit, Paste. And what that does, it gives me a whole new layer here. Yep. And I can hide my background with a little eye. There we go, I've got a funny bear by there. Some space, let's see if this works. So I've got my layer, little bear laying down. I'm going to right click on here, Export As. And it's giving me the layer I've got here. It's my PNG, it's fine. And I make sure it's a PNG and make sure transparency is selected. So I'm going to select Export. And it should ask me where I want to put it. So I'm going to put it on my external drive where I'm currently making this video. Let's save it there. Let's call it bear. Okay, now I would probably save this. If what you can do, obviously, you're making loads of elements like this you want to animate in your video, you could just layer it up and just do loads of them. But I'm not going to right now. Just don't need you. Go away. Right, brilliant. I'm going to import my little bear. Let's go and find my bear. Bear. There he is. Bear PNG. Drag him in over here. There's my bear. And drag him in over the top. He's massive. He's a massive laying down bear. So what I can do is I can click on my bear. And over here under effect controls, I'm going to trim him down a little bit. And I can rotate him around as well. It doesn't have to be laying down, although it looks a bit weird, but yeah, there we go. What I might do is move him over here and drag him out of the image. But I'm going to start adding. I'm making him bounce along, bong 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 there. So I'm going to come to the beginning of my bear clip, stick a little keyframe in, move along, and click and drag him along to there. And go along here, do the same again, move along to here. Obviously I'm very much just eyeballing this, and there's no real rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. You can move these keyframes along, by the way. You can also copy and paste them if you sort of think. There we go. That'll crikey. Let's just move that to the end. And we'll make sure that kind of he leaves at that point. There we go. Let's even those out a little bit. What I could do in between each of those, I might have him bouncing up. Boing. It's not quite right, but let's see how that looks. Boing, boing. Hello, I'm a bear. Yeah, sort of. That'll do. So you get the idea. Okay, and we could have him zoomed in. Alright, it could be a bit sort of, can make him a bit smaller. Down the bottom, down there. Boing, boing. There we go. Little bear jumping along. Okay. And it might be I want to add an effect to that little bear. So video effects, what could we do here? Color correction. I could change the color of that tint. Put a color tint on the bear. If I hover it over, and this will apply if I was doing it to any of the videos. Got my bear selected and scroll down till I can find tint. So if I map white to pink, is that going to work? Why isn't that working? There we go. Map black to that crazy blue. There you go. Whoa, that's a crazy psychedelic bear. What I could even do is I can animate. Now that I've got these, you see everything that's got these little stopwatches, I can animate. So maybe I'll just start there. Through the course of that, maybe he'll go to yellow at that point. I think this will work. I've never actually done this before. Let's see. Whoa, psychedelic bear. Where's he going? He's got no hair. Okay, so there's my amazing video. And at the end of any good video, you should include credits. So, beginning I had my title, saying my amazing video, and at the end, again, I'm going to click T. And here should be my credits. So it's going to be something along the lines of directed by me. I'm going to shrink this down actually a little bit. That text is way too big, isn't it? So, and keep it simple. Don't go crazy with your fonts. Just keep something simple and easy. I know I keep saying don't use the default thing, Myriad Pro, but if you really have to, I mean, it's not the end of the world. So, directed by me. Oops, what happened there? Oh, it's because I've still got a ridiculous, crazy line height from my previous settings. That's all the view. And then maybe below that we'll have photos. I don't know. Probably write in the name of the person that's made the video. Okay, so a lot of the videos are images that you'll grab from somewhere like Pexels. They should have the person's name in them, but if not, just put in video Pexels. I haven't got any music in here. I could quickly grab some music. Do I have anything on my... There we go. I've got someone phoning me. I'm just going to grab some music from here. There we go. What's this sound like? That'll do. Come along to here. I'm going to press C. I'm going to cut this here. So C is for the cut for the razor tool. I'm going to fade this out. And if you want to fade out audio, if you hover over the end, you'll see that little square with a half thing. If you drag that, you'll be able to fade in and out. So I'm going to fade in my title as well, I realised. Okay, let's watch it quickly. It's obviously struggling a bit here. I've got a lot of layers, I've got a lot of things going on, I'm running out of space, etc. It's having a hard time, but when I export it, hopefully it'll all be fine. You could also, in your credits, also sort of add a, a copyright thing for the year and to you. It's really up to you what you include in this, but do try and add some credits if you've worked with people, if you've taken anything that isn't yours. So music, floating points. There's a don't know weird thing again here. What's going on? There we go. I mean, it's terrible. If I spend a bit more time, I actually lay these out a bit nicer. It's not ideal, but it's fine. Cool. I mean, happy with your video, as I am. Remember to save. So go to File, Save As. Make sure you've saved your project in the same folder as all your files, just in case you decide to, at any point, where is it? I can't even find it now. Oh, it's in my other folder. In case you decide to go back to it and revisit it again, if you want to put your documents and your folder in a different place, don't forget everything needs to be in the same folder. I don't know how many times I have to, or at least a folder you know where everything is. And it's not just dumped in your downloads where you last left it. So you make sure if you're moving things to a different computer, you know exactly where everything is. So I'm going to export this in here. So it's called a psychedelic, I can't spell, psychedelic bear fun. There we are. That's my project file. And if I want to export the video, go to export. So yeah, I don't want to see any Premiere project files uploaded. Okay, you need to upload an MP4. You still need to export your video. Don't just save it. That won't work. I'll end up with a file I can't do anything with. What are we calling this? Psych bear car fun. And make sure you know where it's going, location, otherwise it'll end up in somewhere random place usually. I don't even know what this is. Let's go to editing. Let's go to video tutorial. Psychedelic car, save. As a default, you should be fine with whatever comes up here. It's probably match source adaptive high bitrate. That means it's quite high quality and it matches the size and everything that you've used and the frame rate. Format H.264. That's fine. It's good quality, HD, fine for uploading to the internet. Okay, if you're uploading it to TV or sending off for a film festival, you need a much higher quality codec. But for this is fine. It's a lightweight file. It's not going to be too massive. It's not going to be gigs and gigs and gigs. It's 61 megabytes. That's fine. I know where it is. It's that great. Export. And then wait for that to render. Okay. I hope that makes sense. There's other videos on the playlist that this is part of on how to, I think there's a color grading one. I didn't go into that just now, but it's fairly easy. You may not need to. I'm not expecting anyone to do any hardcore color grading for this video. Getting it edited and exported will be enough, but I may make another video for color grading as well specifically. I might just color grade this little video, why not? So there we go, that's all done. Thank you very much, bye.